So welcome to the Graphic Design Online Orientation session. As you've just heard from Julia, she is one of your hosts, and also myself, Alicia. So this is what we look like. I am the Senior Learning Facilitator for online and the Brisbane campus, and Julia is one of our amazing online lecturers in the graphics program. So you will most likely have her for one of your first subjects. She is a machine in design software. So if you're lucky enough to have her, you will be in great hands. So why are you here? Obviously you're here to study, learn some new skills, experience what it's like to be a designer, open up more opportunities for yourself, and create connections as well as a profession for yourself. I also have in here a portfolio. So I just want to touch on that quickly. Remember, when you graduate, you're going to graduate with a portfolio of pieces of work that you're going to send out or show potential employers to get a job. So you need to approach all of your assessment briefs as if they were real-life jobs, as you're going to place them in your portfolio. So if you're here just to do your assessments, get a pass, get a certificate, then probably this course is not for you. We want you to do the best you can, and we will encourage you along the way, as well as giving you tips, feedback on your work. And also, you probably will, when you get to the end of the course, you'll look at some of the work you've done at the beginning and probably revisit some of that artwork to add to your portfolio. So always keep that in mind while you're studying. Is this the best I can do? Or perhaps, you know, you're busy and just for whatever reason you can't do your best. Remember, you can go back and revisit those projects at the end to add to your portfolio. So what it will be like to study with us, it will be tough at times, but don't give in. Remember, we're here to help. Even though you guys are online, we are always online ourselves, so there is a large amount of support from your lecturers, as well as all of the academic support that was just in the previous session. It will be rewarding the whole way through the course. When you hand in your assessment, there's nothing better than that feeling of submitting it and also receiving your grades back. I think Julia would have to agree with me here, because we're both actually studying ourselves. So we completely are compassionate with you as a student. It will be fun as well, and you will work on some great projects. And just keep in mind, you'll like some things more than others, and your classmates will like some areas more than others as well. Everybody has a different skill set, and it's just what works for you or what you like is what you're going to find fun. You know, not every part of design is for everybody. So, you know, if you do find some areas a little bit tough, it's okay, and we are here to help. So different types of careers that you might become once you graduate are web design. So we do cover a bit of web in this course, but perhaps you quite like that subject and that's something you want to move into afterwards. That's fantastic, or perhaps you do design and web. You can work either way. When you graduate, you'll probably start off as a junior designer or finished artist for the first year while you're learning new skills. And we obviously give you the fundamentals, but you will learn a lot once you're out in the industry as well. You could go into packaging or logo design. If you find you like typography, which is type or fonts, you can actually have a full-time job being a typographer. or even an illustrator as well. You may even like to work in advertising or publishing. Again, it's completely up to you where you want to go, and you may not know where you want to go when you finish, and that's completely fine too. I just got a job doing basic graphic design work when I first graduated, and then it took me about 3 years to work out where I sort of fitted within the industry. I worked in printing, I've worked in advertising, TV, you name it. I've been in almost every area, and Julia's quite versatile as well. So it kind of takes, you know, a couple of jobs or a few years to find out what you really like and where you fit within the industry. But some lucky people know straight from the beginning. So I just want to cover important dates for the term. So we start next Monday. So your lecturers will be in contact with you on Monday to introduce themselves, so you know who you have for each subject. And the end of the trimester is the 27th of August, which is a Sunday. So we run a 12-week trimester. If your assessments are due, say, in week 4, just keep in mind they're always due at the end of that week, so the Sunday. So, as I said, if it's due in week 4, it's due on the Sunday at the end of week 4. And the census date cutoff is the 23rd of June, which is week 3. So if you find that this course is just not really, you know, what you want, then you are able to change or pull out before the 23rd of June without any financial penalty. Or perhaps your work schedule is a little bit busy and you want to come back next term, you can defer until next term as well. Okay, so before you start, you will need a computer that is capable of running the Adobe Creative Suite. You will need to sign up through adobe.com. Make sure you sign up through the Australian one, not the American one. And make sure you sign up as a student, as you'll get a discount on your monthly premium, which is half the price of the full amount. So you'll get that for the first year. You'll need to ensure that you have Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, Acrobat Pro, and Photoshop ready to go by next week. Also, we recommend you having a hard drive, so you back your work up onto the hard drive. There's nothing worse than your computer crashing or something happens to it and you haven't backed your work up. That means you've lost all of your assessments. You've also lost your work that goes into your portfolio. So this is why we recommend purchasing a hard drive, as they're more stable than USBs, and ensure that you back your work up every week onto that hard drive. Obviously, you have your lecturers and myself and Julia to guide you throughout the course, but there is additional online support. So if you go to thehub.laureate.net.au, that will take you to this window, and then you can pick which campus you're at. Obviously, you guys are online, so click on the online icon, and that will take you through to this window. Any of the support that we spoke about in the previous session, so counselling, IT support, any academic writing support, you can find it under the support menu, and you can book a session with those people here. We also have an online library which you can access. You can also use the library and campus facilities in your local area if you're close to one of the campuses. you just need to ensure you get an ID card from the campus, and then you can use those facilities as well. And don't forget to visit the Getting Started menu, because there's a lot of helpful information in ensuring you're enrolled correctly before you start next week. So under the Getting Started menu, they'll help you, there's tips on, checking that you have your ID or student login, sorry. You've enrolled correctly, all the academic areas that you need to know. Make sure you've been orientated, which you are because you're here tonight, which is fantastic. So when you come to the booking system to book with your academic support team, it will look like this. And then you can make a booking down here. And the counselling support system looks like this, and you can make a booking here. So as Dan mentioned in the first session, we also have success coaches, which are offered to first-term students. They will guide you throughout the course and touch base with you as well, but mainly to help you stay on track and get started in your first trimester. So they'll help you with staying motivated, give you study goals. So that's also by completing the Strengths Finder test that they have, which is fantastic. I've done it and actually pointed out strengths that I wasn't aware of. The great thing about Strengths Finder is it actually focuses on your strengths rather than your weaknesses. So you can work on your strengths, which will help you as your soft skills once you're out in the industry. They'll also help you with career aspirations, so finding where you might want to go with your career. Again, Julia and myself can help you with that too. Also finding a balance between work and study, because sometimes that can be hard, especially studying online. So if time management's not your forte, which it's okay if it's not for many people, you can contact the success coaches and they can help you with that. But your lecturers can also help. So they're more sort of career coaching, life coaching. Then you have your counsellor for any life issues that you need, and you have your lecturers for all your academic support, and the call centre you contact for any enrolment inquiries. So I hope that makes sense, how it's all broken up into different sections. To access all of your classes, you will be working in Blackboard. So I'll let Julia run through this with you guys. So Julia, do you want to jump in?
Yes, thank you so much, Alicia. This is where the magic starts, and this is your learning portal. So this is where you're going to live for the next 1 to 2 years while you're studying. And we're going to jump in there, but there's the login for you. And just to break down, you're going to be getting a lot of class codes, and I thought this is just a nice sort of graphic to show you what they mean. So 17 means the year the class is taught. Campus, all of you guys are going to be in OL for online. And then you have your subject codes. This is probably what you need to pay most attention to. For example, this is design software. And then you have your trimester start date along with your class code. Every class has a unique code to it. So I'm going to also show you one of those live and direct. But we're going to check it out live because I think that's the best way for you guys to sink your teeth into it. So we're going to go over the home page, subject codes, the spot, lynda.com, subject home pages where you can find your lecturers' details, announcements, my class messages, discussion forums, collaborate sessions where you can find those, how you can access those, the assessment area, your grades, and weekly modules. And then we're going to link that back to lynda.com. So if at any point that I'm showing you what I'm describing, if anything isn't showing from what I'm describing you, please let me know, Alicia, just sing it out. But we're just going to be jumping online, so we're just inside our learning portal. So we're going to be putting in your student ID, and you should have received that by now from Student Services. If you haven't, please let them know. You're going to log in with your secret password, and then you're going to have your landing page. So please note that our interfaces from person to person might look a little bit different, but essentially they're all the same. So if you log in on today or next week and it doesn't look exactly like mine, that's okay. It's pretty much the core of it is exactly the same. So as I said before, the class codes and how to access your classes are going to be on the left-hand side under My Classes. And for example, here I have Design Software, DES. But then I have a different one here, DIN, which will be Design Industry. So you guys will get to know this as you go through. If you don't know it by that, you'll get to know your unique class codes. Something else that I want to show you that's really important, and as well it might look a little bit different on some of your interfaces, but we have this spot here. And I'm going to come back to this, but just note that it's really, really important for you to get to know this spot over here. So I'm going to jump into one of our classes and break down where you're going to live. So it's structured in a way that you have your subject info at the top, then you have your communication zone in here, and then you have your assessments and how to access your results, and then your weekly lesson content down on the side as well. Take note, on Monday, one of the first things you need to do is see who your lecturer is, and that's on the home page, lecturer information, and how to contact them. You can also start by downloading your subject outline and seeing what content you're going to be going through with that subject. Each week, your lecturers will be sending you what are called announcements. So if I select announcements here, you would have all received in your inboxes this exact message. So whenever you receive an announcement weekly from your lecturer, it's going to be like a compass for you. Your lecturer is going to let you know where you should be up to maybe with your assessments, or what fantastic resources they have in order for you to look at your assessments or build your skills. And really, really important information. So please make sure whenever you receive an announcement, it will go to your email, but if you'd like, just weekly check in, click on announcements and see what's going on that week. Really important. If we have a look now down here in our communication zone, we have My Class Messages. This is the best way to contact your lecturer. So it's just like email. We create a message, make sure that we hit 2. You will always find that your lecturer will have in brackets Lecturer Plus. So make sure that if you need to speak to them, you select their name and then move it across. In your subject, please be really clear about what you're discussing in your email, in your message, so that the lecturer knows as soon as they're opening it up that you're dealing with Assessment 1, Assessment 2, Assessment 3, or an extension. And then be really clear and attach anything that you need to in the body copy. So if you need to attach anything, just insert a file, but just be really clear with what you need answers to. If it's quite vague, you're going to get a vague answer. Just be really clear so you get a really clear, detailed answer. And then once you've written it, just hit submit. So that's the best way and the first way to contact your lecturer. We can always call you. That's absolutely fine. Just send us a message and say, can you please give me a call, Alicia, on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. is the best time for me. Okay. Look, My Class Messages aren't to showcase your work. The best place for you to do that is in our discussion forums, and I'm going to get to those. Please leave My Class messages for things like extensions, maybe issues that you're having with a subject, maybe if you're having personal issues that are interfering with your study, but leave all assessment questions and showcasing of your work to discussion forums. So we're going to go to those now. So if you click on discussion forums, you're going to find this is really where the magic happens, and this is going to feel like your live classroom. So this is where you're going to be sharing your work week by week, showing your skills, how they're building, and also showing maybe things that are going wrong with an assessment. So there's our student forum, and this is where you can share information with fellow students. Ask the facilitator forum, so maybe you have a question about an assessment. And the great thing about posting work on here is that someone else may have the exact same question. And if we answer it once, we can maybe answer 40 different people's questions. So it's really important to post it up here. And then week by week, your lecturer will be setting up the initial conversation, and you'll be answering to that. So it's really great for you to showcase your work to start getting used to getting feedback. Because as soon as you guys hit industry, you're going to be getting feedback from everyone. Your art directors, your creative directors, senior designers. So this is a great, safe and nurturing place to share your work. And your lecturers will guide you as to what you're posting each week. A lot of students, and a few of you right now might be thinking, well, can't we start Facebook groups or any social media groups? I get asked that question every time. Please know that we do not monitor any groups outside of your subject. So if anyone posts anything or you start a group on social media, it is not monitored by your lecturers, and you could be going off on the complete wrong tangent, which we have seen happen before. There is nothing that you would post on social media that you can't post here, such as work, questions about when assessments are due, maybe your worries that you have about a particular assessment. Everything needs to go in here so that you know that you're getting the correct direction from your lecturers, okay? So if any of you are thinking, I'm going to start a Facebook group, it's totally up to you, but just know that it's completely not monitored by lecturers, and the best place to share your work is in your subject. Collaborate. So this is where all of you guys are in right now. You're in a Collaborate live session. So by you guys being here tonight and downloading Launcher and getting in, you are 10 steps ahead already. Collaborate sessions, and if you just click on Collaborate Live Web Conferencing button over here, you're going to come up, and by maybe week 2, maybe next week, you're going to see a whole list of all of your live classes and the content that you're going to be talking about, the times and the dates. They're all going to be showing up in here. So you can plan out, you can put it in your diary as to when you need that half an hour or an hour blocked out each week, because you're going to attend Collaborate sessions. Now, really important, what you may need to do is adjust the date here, because sometimes it skips ahead and you won't be able to actually see a session. And sometimes the end date might be quite backwards and you won't be able to see a session as well. So just make sure you adjust the dates to fit in those 12 weeks that we're going to go to in this trimester. And if you ever miss a session, you can go into recordings. So I know a lot of you maybe work full-time or part-time, and your study schedule isn't going to fit in with when you need to work, or maybe you have little children or families, or life happens, or you go on holidays or something and you need to watch a recording. That's absolutely okay. We give you the option to doing that. Just pop in recordings, make sure you adjust the dates, and your sessions will come up here, the recordings, and you access them the exact same way that you access this session tonight. So when you're in scheduled sessions, you hit on that purple button. Same thing's going to be when your recordings pop up as well. So Collaborate sessions, I was going to talk about why it's so powerful, but I'm hoping that all of you can actually see why Collaborate sessions are so powerful tonight. You're going to get a massive chunk of your knowledge from Collaborate sessions because you can interact in live time. And a lot of the knowledge that you're going to gain is from Collaborate sessions. And if you have any questions that you need answered straight away, this is where to come as well. So really, really powerful for you to attend Collaborate sessions. Now, if we move down to our assessments, this is where you guys should be living next week. If you hit on assessments, you're going to come up with your assessment overview. So you're going to see how many assessments you have, a little bit about what the assessments are about, and then the due dates. If we keep scrolling down, you're going to see links to each assessment. So if I click on the first one for assessment 1, all of you guys will be doing design software. You should all be heading in here. You can see the assessment information, and here we have your brief. So a brief is simply a set of instructions, and it's really good to use the terminology brief because that's what you're going to be getting when you go out into industry and you're working with a client. They're going to give you a brief, and that's a set of instructions of what needs to happen, what needs to occur with the job that you're doing. So if we have a look at a brief, and you guys might have something that looks like this, or you might have something that looks like this. They might look a little bit different, but essentially they're both briefs. And if we keep scrolling down, we have assets, and it's really important to download these assets. And assets are a set of tools that you're going to need to use in order to create your assessment. So there might be such things as images. We might provide you with a Word document. We might supply you with illustrations or photographs that you need to use in order to create an assessment piece. I'm going to show you what one of those looks like in a second. But really important, before you even start your assessments, is to download the brief, read the brief, highlight it, draw on it, get a mental image of what it looks like, and then have a look at your assets and see what you're working with. Because it's all well and good to start on an assessment and then think you're finished and then open up your assets and realize that you haven't got the material that was needed in order for you to pass. So let's just have a quick look at what an assets folder looks like. And I'm just going to start sharing my folder. So I'm in my at the moment, hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. I'm opening up, for example, my Illustrator folder, and all you guys will be doing this next week. So this is a Design Software Assessment 1 exercise, and you're going to be working with one of the programs, Illustrator. Once you download it and you break it down, you're going to go, okay, well, one of my first tasks is a Lego logo redraw. Double click on it. Within that, you're going to find a brief, your set of instructions on what you need to do. And if you look in your assets, you're going to see that there's an image that's been supplied. So they're the things that you're going to find within your assets and your brief, okay? When you've created your work, it's time to submit. So we're back in Blackboard now, and we're just continuing to scroll down. So when you think, sweet, I'm ready to submit, I'm going to click on this Assessment 1 Exploring Design Software, and just note that it's directly behind Assets, underneath Assets. Click on there, and if you like, you can view your rubric, how you're getting marked, and then scroll right down, and here you're going to find Browse My Computer. You select the file that you want, open it, and then if you like, you can write a few comments to your lecturer, and then hit Submit. Take note of this button next door which says Save Draft. If you select Save Draft, it's not going to come through to us. It'll get just stuck. So make sure that you only hit Submit when you're 100 million% that you're ready to go. Really, really important. If for some reason you need to resupply a file or something has happened, you go through the same process again. And then once you've submitted and you've crossed your fingers and you're just waiting for your grades, you can pop into My Grades, which is directly underneath Assessments, select My Grades, and your grades are going to be in here. Okay? If you're ever unsure maybe that your submission hasn't gone through or something, just send your lecturer a My Class message. And then we get to our weekly content, our weekly modules. And if we select Module 1, which all of you guys will be doing next week, you're going to find the first page, and notice that there are 3 tabs. The first page is what's covered that week. So you're going to go through what you're going to be covering that week, and then what you must complete that week as well. So just
do you want to just click a little slower because it's just lagging a little bit between the tabs?
Yeah. Oh yes, yes. No worries. Sorry about that. So if you look at what you must complete that module, they're the things that you're going to be popping onto the discussion forum. So it might be you create a piece of work in one of the programs and then you pop it up in the discussion forum. So that's going to give you guidance. Now, if we go to our learning resources, hopefully this isn't lagging too much, you're going to find that in each subject there's what's called iMags. And it's like a little magazine, a digital magazine for you to review that's going to give you the building blocks of knowledge that you need to know in order to create your assessments. If we scroll down a little bit further, you're going to have lynda.com. You guys are going to be really intimate with lynda.com. So what I want to do is I'm just going to go back to something that you will all do again next week. And remember, this is recorded, so don't think you have to remember everything tonight. But something that I mentioned on your home page is the spot. On some people's interfaces, it's going to be called the hub. So, but it's usually placed on the right-hand side. So what you want to do before you start doing, especially for design software, if you log on, you think I'm going to do design software, I'm going to concentrate on design software subject today. The first thing you need to do is log in to Blackboard, go to the spot and click Access Now. Then it's going to ask you, click here to go to lynda.com. And I'm going to show you when we go back to our presentation the step-by-step process. For me, it's going to go directly to lynda.com. And this is what lynda.com looks like. So lynda.com is an incredible resource of short videos that are going to, again, build your building blocks of knowledge. So you're going to be doing these each week. So that's why it's incredibly important for you guys to get onto lynda.com. We know and we notice as lecturers if you haven't been on lynda.com. So it's really, really important to follow those tutorials, which are in each of your weekly modules. So if you scroll down, we're back in Learning Resources in Design Software. You're going to find that we provide you with tutorials that you need to complete in order to complete your assessment task, to give you that knowledge. So if you select, for example, the first one, it's the new Illustrator CC interface, because you have already logged into Lynda through the spot or the hub, it's going to go directly to that video. If you don't log into the spot and then log into Lynda, it won't log in for you. It's going to just log into just a generic lynda.com page. So that's why it's really important to know the spot and jump and log into lynda.com. Once you're in here, it's really important to note this exercise file tab. And I'm really running through this because I know all of you are going to be doing design software. Under exercise files, you're going to find that there is a zip folder, and you need to download that only once for Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. And then you've got all the resources that you need in order to complete the videos. But next week, your lecturers will go through that in more depth. And if you find that maybe they don't or you're unsure, please ask them. So each week you're going to follow these different videos, and that's going to be, building blocks of knowledge. And please make sure the final tab that you go to the final tab, which is your learning activities. You might have a short learning activity that you need to also do and pop up on the discussion forum. For example, next week in design software, it tells you to go on and introduce yourself, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and do a small Illustrator activity to get you started with the programs. So each week is going to guide you as to what you need to be doing, as well as your lecturer. Okay, so we're just going to go back to the presentation. And yeah, as I said, lynda.com is super important. There's a few tutorials to get you started, if you like, on time management fundamentals and developing ideas and design concepts. Lynda.com has a bit of everything, not just videos on the design programs. Please note that your lynda.com subscription is covered by your student fees, so if anyone says that you need to pay, you don't. They're covered in your student fees. So accessing lynda.com. If it doesn't look like what I just showed you, it might look like this, a big yellow button. You will need to enter your first name, surname, and email. It could be your laureate email, your student email. And then it's going to go show you this sort of page. So it's going to go through a bit of a process, but just once. And then every time from that, it'll be quick. You jump into lynda.com button, and then click log into lynda.com, and it'll open up this page for you. So please make sure you log in by next week. Any issues, please let your lecturer know ASAP, because you don't want to fall too behind, because there's lynda.com videos every single week. There's also a little video there that shows you how lynda.com works, but again, if you're unsure, ask your lecturer. If you need any lynda.com support, maybe lynda.com is just freaking out or it's not working, you can go to that link there and know that it is supported through iPhone and Android and Windows. So you can have a look at this on your different apps. There is an app for it, so you can look at it while you're on the bus, on your phone or on your tablet, however you like. And there you are able to actually watch these offline, and your lecturer will be sending you a guide as to how you can actually watch these offline. Cool. Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks, Julia, for running through that. That was fantastic. So I've just got a few important numbers on here that you might want to take note of. You can also find these on the Hub website. Everything is on there that you need. So if you need to contact us, you can call the call centre on 0292510029. And they will transfer you through to us, or email us and get us to call you back at an appropriate time. The campuses are open from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday. On Fridays, some campuses shut at 6:30, some shut at 7. And on Saturdays, they're also open from 9 to 4. So if you would like to use any of the campus facilities, you can go in during those times, or some of them have 24-hour after hours access that you can use as well. Just note, during the holiday periods, we just work normal times, and not all lecturers will be available during that period. If you need to email your lecturer, as Julia mentioned before, the best way to contact them is through a My Class message. For whatever reason you don't hear back from them or you need something urgent, you can contact me on this address here, and I will organize or answer your questions. And if you have any IT issues, you can email the IT service desk or call the 1300 number. And the IT guys are pretty helpful with any IT issues or Blackboard issues. So don't ever feel or hesitate to contact them. They're very, very helpful. I just want to talk to you about extensions. So we do offer an extension procedure. If you do need to lodge an extension, you can find the form on the Hub or the Spot, or also on the hub.laureate website. You'll find them under the policies and procedure forms. You will need to lodge the application for assessment special consideration form before the assessment is due. So make sure you lodge it before. If it's coming up to the weekend it's due, make sure you lodge it on the Friday so we can try and process it for you before the weekend. And you will need to supply supporting documentation as to why you need the extension. It could be a doctor's certificate or a letter from your employer if it's a work commitment. If your computer's crashed and it's being fixed, just get a receipt from the IT company where you've lodged your computer. And then to lodge your extension form, you send it to your lecturers through a My Class message. So don't send it to admin or the call center or to me. Send it to your lecturer and they will approve it. If they're not sure, then they'll escalate it to me and then I will sign it off for you. So the form's pretty simple. You just need to enter your name, the reason why you need an extension, and list the classes and assessments that you need the extension for, and then email that PDF form to your lecturer. Frequently asked questions. So your lecturers are assigned 3 hours per week per subjects they're teaching. So this time will be used running your live sessions, which normally go from half an hour to an hour. We try not to keep them too long, as we know that you're not always engaged if they run for over an hour. Some classes may need them, like the web and interactive subjects. You'll also be interacting with your lecturers in the forums and also via email. And obviously the lecturers will be marking your work. So the recommended hours of study is approximately 8 to 10 hours per week per subject. That's including your 3 hours of class time. So it's up to you how you want to manage that time. But I recommend if you are working full-time, do not study full-time. It's too much work. You're better off studying part-time if you do work full-time. So if you're in that scenario, perhaps send me an email tomorrow and I can advise you on what the best approach might be, or if you know, okay, this is too much work, then make sure you change your enrollment this week or next week to ensure that you're doing the right subjects for the amount of time you can give to the course. And please note that not all of your lecturers work every day. Some of them are casuals, so they may not answer your emails for 24 hours, sometimes 2 days, but we do try and get back to you within 24 hours when we can. So if you're studying full-time for subjects, it's an estimate of 40 hours a week worth of study. Some weeks will be less, some weeks will be more, depending on what assessments you have. So consider it a full-time job, basically, if you're studying full-time. And perhaps you want to work part-time while you study. So just some advice or study tips to get you through the course. Don't give up, especially in the first few weeks. It will be a little bit overwhelming. It's new to you. You're learning new things, new processes. You're getting your head around Blackboard. So if you do have any concerns, contact your lecturers or myself. We're here to help. We're here to guide you through the course, and we want to see you complete it and graduate. You know, that's our job. So if you are finding overwhelming, don't sit there in silence. Let us know so we can help you. Ensure you devote yourself to the course. As I mentioned before, approach your assessments as if they're real jobs, not just because you want to pass or fail. They are what you're going to get a job with, basically. So as I said, if you do work full-time, please avoid studying full-time, as it will be too overwhelming for you. But again, it's up to you. It's your decision. But that's what I recommend to get the best opportunity you can out of the course. Oh, and sorry, also going back to that, you will have to give up some of your personal life as well. Study is a commitment, so if you do have a party on the weekend that an assessment is due, please submit your assessment first, then go and celebrate afterwards. I will not give out extensions because you went to a party, and neither will Julia. And celebrate your mistakes. You know, everybody makes mistakes. I occasionally make a mistake every now and then, and I've got 13 years experience. It happens sometimes, you know, we can't help it. The best advice I can give you here is work out how the mistake happened and how you're going to stop it from happening the next time. In relation to your assessments, don't be too hard on yourself if you do receive some constructive feedback. It's feedback that we're giving you to help improve on your skills, so you can push yourself further. And you're here to learn, so you know you will receive feedback throughout the whole course. But as I said, it's feedback that's going to help you. So you know, don't get upset if you do receive the feedback. It's a positive thing. And be curious, ask questions. There are no silly questions here. Like I said, our job is to help you get through the course. So don't sit there and suffer for 5 hours in silence trying to work out something. Send us an email so we can help you, or send you a tutorial. Or, you know, we can probably call you and sort out the problem in 5 minutes, rather than you sitting there pulling out your hair for 5 hours trying to get the pen tool to work. Part of studying is also managing your time well. So in Blackboard, you have a calendar. All of your assessment dates will be in here, and your collaborate sessions. But I also suggest creating your own personal calendar. I personally like using iCal because it syncs with my computer, iPhone, iPad. You know, I can even send you a template that I've created here. I'll send it to Julia, and she can send it out to you next week in Design Software. But lodge all of your, you know, personal things that you have on, whether it's a birthday or you play soccer or a sport. You know, what days do you work? Put them in there, and also put when your assessments are due. I know it seems really simple, but actually visually seeing it makes you aware of how much work you have on and how are you going to manage your time to get everything done within that week. So hopefully we've given you some good tips to get started for next week. If you haven't picked your subjects, please make sure you pick them tonight or tomorrow so you're ready to go on Monday. And you don't miss out on any information from your lecturers on Monday either. If you're not enrolled, sometimes you don't receive that information. Please try and enroll in the subjects in the study order. So if you're studying full-time, you should be doing definitely design software and topography within your first 2 subjects. Then you can pick an elective and design context if needed. So Julia, is there anything you'd like to add here before we have a Q&A session with the students?
No, I think we've gone through everything, all the major points. Once you sink your teeth into things next week, you might have a few more questions, but that's a good time to send your lecturer a My Class message. But yeah, as Alicia said, it's over to you. So if you do have a mic, we're going to give you mic access. So just pop your hand up first. There's a little hand icon just above in the participants panel. Just pop your hand up so we don't have too many people talking at the same time. Or pop your questions in the chat box and we can answer your questions. If you do need to head off, thank you so incredibly much for giving your time tonight. We hope that you've been inspired and informed. And we will see you all on Monday. So if you need to head off, thank you. Have a great night. I know the footy's on. But for those of you who want to stay back and have a bit of a chat and ask any questions, please, the floor is open.
And also, just remember, guys, take it each week at a time. Don't feel like you've got to do everything at once. Just stick to the modules and the lesson plans. That's going to help you guide your way through the course. So we'll leave it up to you. If you've got any questions, post it in the chat. Or if you want to talk on the microphone, just raise your hand.
Lindsay, for your question for the first online class on Monday, is there a set time? So Monday, unless your lecturer has set it, and they will let you know through an announcement, there probably won't be a Collaborate session as such. It'll be more your lecturer introducing themselves to you. So that's also a really good time for you to jump into each of your subjects, just as I am now, and just browsing through. So as Alicia said, don't jump too far ahead. Just have a look at your first assessment. You know, figure out how to send it. Just have a look at, oh yes, I know where My Class Messages is. I can see discussion forums, and just jump into Module 1. I would suggest that that's probably the first thing that you do, and your lecturer will let you know next week as to when the first Collaborate session is. But I doubt it will be on Monday for Collaborate. Lee, I'm sorry, can we relate? Can I see a recording of this orientation? Yes, you can, Lee. You can see the recording under the Collaborate Live Web Conference in the Design Software subject. So you'll see a tab on the left-hand side that says Collaborate Live Web Conference. Jump in there, and then you'll also see another tab that says Recordings. Just hit that, and a recorded session will be in there. It takes probably about 10 to 15 minutes after we stop a session that you can check it out. And we'll also post it out to you guys next week. Thank you so much, Jenny. Can I just get your feedback, guys, in the chat if you found this at all helpful or not? Just let us know in the chat. That would be great. Fantastic. Thank you. Yes, it'll have a copy of the first orientation as well. Very helpful. Yay! Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you so much for the feedback. Okay, Laura hasn't been able to access student email yet. Adobe Creative Suite, yes, it does. You have to have a student affiliation. So just send an email to Student Services, and they will be able to help you out. I'll just go back to our contacts. Just email Student Services and just let them know that you need your student email. Yes, it's fantastic that it's recorded, because if you miss out on something, you can always go back. Excellent. Okay, well, we're just going to stop the recording now, guys. Thank you very much.